Hey friends, Pastor Doug here. I'm working out of the home office as I share about discipleship today. There's so much that I could and will say over these next few weeks, and I want you to know that I'm still working to come up with a complete answer to what our church's discipleship path should look like. I also want you to know that I'm not pulling thoughts and answers out of thin air. There are a number of books that are impacting my thoughts. Coloring Outside the Lines, The Emotionally Healthy Church, The Critical Journey, and a few more by the time this is all said and done, I'm sure. What I want to say today is that there is a difference between growing older and maturing. Obviously, we can't stop the world from making its yearly journey around the sun, and our birthdays continue to pile up. However, maturity is something that we have to work on. It's a decision on our part about how we will live and respond to the people and events happening around us. Let me give you one less than perfect example. It may be less than perfect, but any example or analogy when pushed too far breaks down. I know how to juggle. I can do a 3-ball cascade just fine. When I started learning, it was hard and I was tempted to quit, but then I never would have learned that 3-ball cascade. I would have stopped there and not matured in my ability. I also worked at juggling rings and cigar boxes and pins, and with time I got better. I also discovered I don't like pins, but that's a story for another time. Right now, I'm simply talking about my mindset and the decision I made to learn and practice juggling. I think the same is true about our discipleship, our relationship with Jesus. We have to make a decision to mature in our discipleship, to grow deeper in our relationship with Christ. The author of Coloring Outside the Lines says it's important to understand that there's only one critical issue in discipleship: our relationship with Jesus Christ. All else is peripheral. Jesus does not call us to a discipleship model or a religious commitment or to a socio-political cause. He calls us to a radical relationship with him. It's radical in the sense that it's the essence of everything we do. Apart from the relationship with Jesus Christ, we are adrift in a sea of worthless advice, good intentions, and less than helpful guidance. Peter Scazzaro puts it quite bluntly: it's not possible for a Christian to be spiritually mature while remaining emotionally immature. Now, I'm not going to unpack Peter's quote right now. We'll save that for another day. But suffice it to say that we need to not simply get older as disciples of Jesus, but we need to mature or grow in our relationship with him, which impacts every aspect of who we are. And so I want to talk about stages in the life of faith today, at least begin that conversation. There are, according to the authors of The Critical Journey, 6 stages. And these stages are very fluid. We move back and forth between them all the time, and we can experience more than one stage at any given time. Talk about confusing. It's part of the reason I never said that discipleship, that following Jesus, being in an ever-deepening relationship with him, was easy. So here are the 6 stages that we're going to look at over these next few weeks. Our recognition of God, the life of discipleship, the productive life, the journey inward, the journey outward, and living a life of love. Those are the 6 stages that they have identified. But there are a couple other points that need to be made about this journey that we take. One, I think it's not linear. It's got a bit of a cyclical feel to it. I also need to tell you that we can get stuck in any stage. We get stuck when we find it more comfortable to sit in that particular stage, to just stay there, than to move on to the next stage. And if you sit too long, you get trapped. Now, stuck is dangerous, but trapped is deadly, because change and growth is hard, but getting stuck and then trapped prevents us from maturing in our relationship with Jesus. We need to discern when we're stuck and when we are called to move forward on this journey. There's also this thing called the wall. It typically happens between the journey inward and the journey outward stage, but it can happen at any time. and the wall feels big and solid and impossible to get over, around, or through. And it may feel that way. And plenty of people have hit the wall and bounced back to an earlier stage, and they stay there. But the wall can be overcome. It can be pushed through. It can be worked through, but it takes courage and determination. So in the future, we'll talk more about being stuck. We'll talk about the wall. We'll talk about these various stages. So for right now, though, I'm going to leave it there and just say we'll come back to this and have a good time with it, friends. Have a great day. Talk to you later.